Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Go Live with Glow. I'm your host, Iconic Glow. Tonight we have a fellow HBCU graduate that went to Morgan State University with me. Her name is Joyelle. Joyelle Powell. We have her here with us tonight. I'm just waiting for everybody to join. I see she's already joined us already. I only have one working AirPod. I have no idea where the other one is. So I hope that you guys can hear me, which means that I will not be able to tune out any other extra noise that I hear in the house. I guess I will find it eventually at some point tonight, right? I guess I'll find the other AirPod. Yeah, you might need to check in the couch, Levi, because it's probably wherever you had dumped them at. The additional AirPod is probably there. It's white. And you won't be able to find it if one of them is in my ear. Don't worry about it. I'll just have to do it without it. I just have to do it without it. It's okay. Yes, let's go ahead and get the show started. Let me just go ahead. Hold on a second. I see one request. Hold on. I think that's her. Hey, how are you?
Hey,
How
I'm
you
good.
doing?
I'm
You have
good. How
great
are you?
lighting. You have really good lighting. I can see you really well.
Awesome. Awesome. You look
And
amazing.
thank you. You do too.
All
So I
right.
gave everybody a soft intro because I'm having like some technical difficulties because I only have one AirPod and I hate to have one in my ear, which means I
I
can
have
kind of hear the
none,
rest
so
of them.
hopefully you guys can hear me
We can hear
and
you really well.
okay,
We can
okay,
hear you
great.
well. I just hate to have one because if I have one, then it's just like I could hear everything else and I
Yeah,
don't
with
even
the
want to
kids.
open.
All right.
Yeah, I can hear the kids in the other ear. I kind of wanted to tune them out for this one, but it's all right though.
It's fine.
So we can just give yourself an introduction, just explain who you are, where you from, what school you graduated from.
Okay. So, my name is Joyelle Powell, but my pen name is Joyelle Zealous. A lot of people had asked, like, wait, what happened to your last name? No, my last name is still Powell, but my pen name is Zealous. And I'm Guyanese from Georgetown, Guyana, but I grew up in Queens. So I'm a Queens girl, and I also represent the Bronx now. I know.
How you like? How we get from Queens to the?
I survived the Bronx, so I'm like, yes. You know what? I'm gonna
So where
claim
were you
it.
living in the Bronx? When were you living in the Bronx?
I was in West Farms,
Oh, you
so
was all the way up there.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, and so what prompted the move for you to get to the Bronx?
Um, right now I'm not there, but I was there because I was living in a shelter. So,
So
that
I
was
want
my
to get
thing.
into that. I want to get into that
Yeah.
too. So we're gonna come back to that. So you were
Okay, we're
giving
gonna
us
circle
all the
back.
rundown. We're gonna circle back to you, just giving us the rundown that you're originally from Queens, but you do,
Mm-hmm.
represent the Bronx. And you spent some time in the Bronx there.
Mm-hmm.
So you also went to Morgan State University. What did you major in at Morgan?
My major was English with a concentration in journalism.
Okay, so you always wanted to do something within education, or was it just like what led
So,
you to where
no,
you at right now?
actually, I concentrated in journalism print. So I was actually a part of the newspaper at Morgan State University. So we did writing and edits. So I always wanted to be like in print magazine and be like a
Okay.
magazine editor for people of color.
Hmm.
But as I came back to New York, I transitioned into just straight working. And then I lost a little bit of the passion for wanting to do magazine. And then when I had my daughter, like after a couple of years, I started to say, okay, well, she's about to go into school. So, as a single mom, if she's off, I can be
Right.
off too. So
Right.
I started to brainstorm, okay, what kind of teacher would I like to be? Because I like naturally I didn't want to be a teacher because I grew up around a lot of educators. So I seen the like how the conflicts that they, just were having with different students and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, how can I touch a young person's life? And I chose to be in high school right before they transition out to kind of like grasp them to be like, okay, all right, let's instill some things in you before you get out there in these streets.
Right.
And that's what I decided to do. That's where my passion is now. Yeah.
But I think we graduated around the same time. So we graduated right at the
Yeah.
top of the pandemic. So when you say you jumped right into work, you basically was, I think all of us were just looking for income at
Yeah,
that
well,
point.
I was I came back to New York, and at that time I was just trying to figure out exactly what kind of job that I can do with journalism at the time. But I live with Caribbean and very strict parents, so they were like, okay, it's been a couple of months, you have your degree, you need to find a job now. And that was kind of the direction of, I had to like jump in and get a job right away. So I went into the workforce in corporate America. I did not enjoy that at all.
What was your experience? Were you working for Verizon at one
I was
point?
working for, the people them. And
The people that
yeah, you know what? It was around the time where Verizon went on strike nationwide that I decided, like, you know what? It's about time for me to start going back to school and get my master's. And then when I was in school getting my master's, when we came off of the strike and we came back into the building, I had a coworker that worked the same hours as I did. She was not old. She was like in her 40s, and she had experienced a loss in her family, and it really took upon her heart. Like, it really heartbroke her. I think it was her brother or something like that, or someone really close. And in corporate America, it's like, okay, well, you only have 1 or 2 days to grieve, and she had to come right back. And she was like put on a lot of different disciplinarian steps, and like at the end of the day, honestly, I think about a week or so after we came back from the strike and we were working, we left the building. Everybody left at the same time, like the late shift. And she was the last to leave out of the building in the bathroom. And we had a couch in the bathroom. So I guess she went to go sit down and just rest before she got on the train. And the next morning she was still there, and she passed away. So, we had to work still with her there,
her corpse and everything, her dead body.
Yeah, we had to wait for New York City
Department of
coroner
Health,
to come, and they were like, "Oh, he's gonna take all day because
they have to." It's only one in each state. It's only one in each borough. There's only one coroner in each borough. Nobody knew that until somebody passed away in the house, and you have to wait for them to come to pick you up. It's one in each state, and depending on how many people is down, they got to pick up all those people.
She was there for a very long time, and honestly, mentally, it was really hard for me to work.
Y'all couldn't use the bathroom. Y'all couldn't do nothing because she was
still in there.
We had to go
to the next floor. Like, people were emotional. Then they were like, you know what? If you leave, you could. They said you don't have to stay, but if you leave, then we're gonna put you on this, this plan. So it was like, after that, I was like, you know what? This is not for me. I have to leave this kind of like, work environment.
Right.
Corporate America is just not for me. It's, if something's happening to you, on to the next. We'll find somebody else to replace you.
Yeah, pretty much.
How it is.
You're not valued in corporate America like that.
Yeah, especially in New York City. So it's just, from that day forward, I want to say 1 or 2 weeks after that, I went up to my boss and I put my 2 weeks in, and that's, I just made sure that I ordered my steps. I was in grad school already. I was night school. So I would take my daughter to daycare at the time. I would go to work. I would go pick her up, take her to night school with me. And I just applied to be subbing, like substitute teacher for the Department of Ed. And once I got that, I put my 2 weeks in, and my boss sat me down and he was like, "You sure you want to do this? Because working in corporate America, you would get paid a lot.
Right.
It's just what you have to mentally deal with." And I was just like, yeah. And he was like, wow, I never, as so many people that worked here. Like I was one of the youngest people that worked,
Mm-hmm.
because that's a job that you keep in the family. Like you just keep going. Like people have
You
been
retire from there.
retired.
You
You
retire from
retire from the
Verizon. You
phone
don't quit
company
there.
now. That's New
That's
York.
how it was at my
That was
job.
Marbell. That was New York Telephone.
Bell
That was
Atlantic.
9X.
I know what you're
People
talking about, the phone
people
company,
retire from
right?
there, so everyone complained, but they were like, no, we're gonna stay because this is how we're making our means, and this is how we're able to pay our New York City rent. But I was like, no, I cannot, I
That's the
cannot.
way it was the same way for at my job as well. People, they passed away from out of there. They didn't necessarily like leave or try to find new jobs or any of that. Like that's not something that they necessarily did. And even if you
Hmm.
talked about leaving the company, it was like, oh my God, where are you gonna go? What are you gonna do? What other job in there? Like that job was the only job that anybody
Yeah,
can have in the world. And it kind of keeps you in like a little mental prison because it's like, well, dad, where am I going to go if I leave here? Where am I going to work at? And there's better companies out here that will
yeah,
treat you better, that values your mental health.
yeah,
There's no way in hell we can stay in this building and somebody's deceased and y'all basically telling us to keep working and the coroner will be here shortly.
yeah.
No time frame, just shortly.
I think that we are the generation that is like, okay, this job is not gonna kill me.
Right,
We are that
right,
generation.
right.
But the people
Definitely.
that are older than us, they
No,
they
they're
are
not. They're
like,
not
you
cut
know
from
what, we
that.
here for the check. All right, this is we here for the check. And then it becomes that kind of an attitude and atmosphere when you're at work. And for me, I would just like to work around people that are passionate about what they do.
Right.
And like sometimes, yeah, you have good and bad days, but overall, every day, I mean, people were literally getting operations just to be out of work, and that's just not.
Oh, to go on disability. People's getting disability,
Like,
going on
good
disability just to
lord.
get out of work. And that, you know what, and that
Like,
happens a lot.
sis,
That happens a lot with a lot of different companies. People just be
okay,
like, listen, I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna do my 6 months, and I'm gonna be out for 6 months, and I'm gonna take my full check, and then I'll come back and deal with it. No one should have to deal with
okay.
any of that type of environment. So once you
No.
left Verizon, you already lined up your ducks in a row. How did you end up in the Bronx in the homeless shelter, though? If you care to talk about that.
Yeah, I talked about it a little bit in the article, and when I was speaking to a reporter about it. So when I left Verizon, I still, had my own place. However, the rent was just the rent skyrocketed
Okay.
within my lease period. So the lease wasn't even over, and the rent already raised. And I didn't understand that because I was living there, I want to say, for 6 or so months. And I was like, usually the rent raises after a year or so. Like, why did it raise in between the time? So I just was like, okay, well, you know what? This is what's in the contract and this is what I'm going to pay. And then when it was time to renew the lease, I'm like, okay, I'm just not going to renew it. And to be honest with you, during that time, I was asking family, like, can I stay? Like, can we move back in? And it's really big, I think, culturally with West Indian people. It's like, okay, you're a big woman now. You have your own child. You cannot come live with us. You need to, you're not married. You need to figure this out. And during that time, I was just like, okay, well, I don't have anywhere else to go. So I was in grad school. I knew that I had just left Verizon. So I was like, okay, well, you know what? I'm gonna move back in regardless. So I moved back in. I
Mm-hmm.
moved back in, even though, my parents were like, no, I don't want you to move back in. No. I moved back in. They was at work. We moved in. And that's how it went. and that's how I survived for, like, I wanna say like a year or two or so. And then what happened was, throughout the time period, we had a death in the family, which really, really, the grief was so real. My uncle, which is my mother's brother,
Mm-hmm.
and he was very close to all of us. He was like really like the funniest person and very laid back. Unfortunately, he passed away from lung cancer. He never smoked, but um, I'm not a conspiracy theorist or anything, but he was in the mix when the Twin Towers did fall.
Oh, so something must have
So
been in
he
his
did get
lung
some of the debris or
complication.
whatever,
Okay.
but we don't really know how he got the lung cancer, but this is what happened. And he went through chemo. My mom, she did everything that she could to, just be there for him, be at visits. He took his last breath that was in our house, in my room. That's when he passed away. And the grief really, really struck so hard that it was like anger. And it was in my household, we already had, there was already different variants of different situations that were happening when I grew up,
Mm-hmm.
with alcoholism and things like that. So when this happened, when the death happened, the grief was so big and it was so, thick.
Unbearable.
It was unbearable to the point where, my daughter was going to school and I was getting calls from the teacher, like, she's drawing this or she's saying this. And at that point, I was like, okay, I need to sit down and have a talk with her. And when I sat down to have a talk with her, I asked her how comfortable was she, living in the house. And
Mm-hmm.
she expressed how she felt at 7. That was the time she was 7. She expressed, she wasn't really, too happy in the house. And I said, well, how would you feel if we came and visit? We don't live here, but we came and visit. And she said she would like that. And to be honest with you, in that moment, that changed my life because I just started packing and I packed whatever I thought that we might have needed. I had no idea what to do. And I called a number to speak to, someone about, different things that were happening. And they told me where I needed to go to start the process of living in a homeless shelter. And the first 24 hours were the most scariest hours of my life to this
Don't
day.
they put you in like an intake home first before they go ahead and put
Yeah,
you in
and it
another?
was like
They don't put you in a
unmarked,
nice, yeah,
and
they
it
don't put
was
you in a
like
nice
the
place.
door was open, the security didn't look secure, the man looked
Right,
like he was nodding off. I was
right,
like, what is going on? Like, he gave me some bed sheets, the showers didn't have any curtain. Like, it was just like,
right. A
I
real
didn't I
situation
didn't
right
sleep
there.
that night because I was just like, wait, at any moment anyone could come in here. And
Right.
the next morning, they knocked really early on the door, woke us all up, and we went back to Path. That's in New York City, guys. Path in the Bronx, and they processed it. It took 48 hours for us to go through
Mm.
that process for me to get placement. And from that day forward, we had a place that we could call home. And I never anticipated that I would stay longer than a year because it was there over a year.
Right.
Um, but we made it work.
And so what was that experience like overall? Like, do you think like it affected your baby or anything like that?
Luckily enough, my daughter was 7, so she was young. She was young enough to know what was going on, but not know.
Okay.
And during this time, even now, like she knows now, she talks about it as if it's okay, because this is
Right.
something that she overcame.
Mm-hmm.
But at the time, I just try to keep us as busy as possible. Like if there was anything free going on in the museum, in the library, we were there. As everyone know, well, people may not know, but you have curfew at a certain time. You
Yeah.
have to be inside. So we
Yeah,
were
they do.
outside for the most part until it was time to be inside. Recreation wise, I was always in dance class. Like I took her with me. And she danced too. I try to form, like, community is so big to me because I try to just connect with as many people that were kind, you know, as many people that, you know, and I didn't tell them my situation. I think I only told one or two people at the time, but whoever I felt that was kind, I didn't have to tell them my situation, but I was just like, you know what, oh, what do you guys have going on here? Can we come? And that was it. And I think that that was the thing that made a lot of people surprised when I did come out, when I was comfortable enough, when I healed from everything. And I'm still healing off so many other things, but from this circumstance, when I finally started vocalizing and talking about it, it was just like, wow, we never even knew. And it was just like, yeah, this is what was happening. I want to say the first three months, I didn't even want to decorate anything. Like, I left everything the way it was. Like, I didn't put any curtains up, nothing. I was like, no, we're not staying here long. I thought we was going to be out in a week or two. I was like, no, we're not getting comfortable. Had my stuff in the suitcase still. Unzip, zip back. I'm not putting anything in any dresser drawers. I'm not doing any of that. And then it wasn't until I realized, oh, wow, I have to make some kind of space. I have to make this my own space. And that's when we started, you know, getting a little comfortable. Not comfortable, because it's really not comfortable in there, but as comfortable as we could. Yeah.
So moving forward to what are you doing now? So you just released your first children's book. Can you tell us about it? Do you have a copy of the book with you?
I do. It's right here.
So tell us about the book.
I am Tenacious. Yes, this is the copy of my my first children's book.
Okay, because I remember you were in the process of writing it. So just tell us what was like the inspiration behind the book. What made you write it? What made you get back into writing? Because you were saying like you just was kind of like not in that headspace. A lot was going on.
Yeah. Well, this is my first. I say it's my first because I feel like I have more to write about and more in me. So I am in the process of doing a lot of different things, and in my healing process, I've also been like rediscovering just different talents and stuff that I used to love as a child, and I'm like, oh snap, I'm really good at this, or you know, this is therapeutic to me. So let me get into it. And you know, as you know, as a New Yorker, you gotta have a hustle. So I'm like, okay, how can I turn this? But to be honest with you, the book, I never thought I was gonna do. It wasn't until I reached a breaking point when I was living in the shelter. Now, I was living in the shelter before the pandemic, and then when the pandemic hit, that's when I was like, oh, wow. Oh, we gonna be here for a while. Because, like, the pandemic hit when it was, like, I was already there for a year. And it was frustrating to me because I graduated with my master's living in the shelter. I had to, like, even ask for permission to stay out a little bit late past curfew. Like, they gave me like a little hour or so extension. But after I was in graduate school and I graduated and I started teaching, I was still homeless. And I didn't tell anybody at work or anything. I just, you know, tried my best to get to know the students. And I just tried to just, you know, do my best.
But you did, though.
Yeah, thank you.
You did it. I mean, you did everything you were supposed to do from the beginning.
Yeah,
you got your master's, you finished the program, you teaching, you wrote your first book. You guys have your own place now. I mean, your journey is your journey. How you got there doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it was just, I want to say when the pandemic hit, I was like, man, we're going to be here for a while because the whole world shut down. Nobody was going outside. You know, and I was just like, man, you know, that's back when the DJs were going live on Instagram. I was in the shelter partying with the DJs, like we were dancing up, like, Yeah.
No, man, around this time 2 years ago, all of us were just kind of sitting in a sunken place. We didn't know what was going to happen from one point to the
Listen,
next.
I was like, you know what? I started like I always been a spiritual person with prayer and big into prayer. I grew up in around like my family is a mixture of all different kind of religions. I have Muslim in my family. I grew up around Hindus. I have Christianity. So I was always big into prayer. But around that time, I was like, man, I'm stuck here. What am I gonna do? So at one more point, I actually gave up because before the pandemic, I was teaching and I was going around Brooklyn because I was trying to move to Brooklyn.
Right. I remember
Because
that part.
I'm always in Brooklyn. I'm like, okay,
Right.
I want to move here. I was going around calling I seen so many apartments. I was let down so many times off the strength that, when I showed up, okay, gentrification. Oh, when I showed up, oh, you're a single mom. That's it. That's the only income. But you see, I'm working. So it
Right.
was just that kind of vibe. So I just wasn't getting apartments no matter what.
Mm.
So I'm trying to tell you all the pathways because I'm sure somebody, this is going to help somebody because honestly, I gave up. When the pandemic
Right.
happened, and I want to say even a little bit before the pandemic happened, I was like, you know what? I'm trying my best.
Right.
These caseworkers see I work for the city like them. I had some people that was throwing me shade that were supposed to be my case managers and things like that.
Mm.
Just not trying to help me, but help everybody else and
Right.
throwing jabs. And then the pandemic happened, and I was just like, you know what? God, this is where you want me to be. All right, so be it. I'm going to just make the best out of it. I'm going to start cooking up big meals, learning how to make new meals. We on the pandemic anyway. The DJ's
Mm-hmm.
playing on live. We dancing. We just having a good old time. We going on live with each other now. We playing games. We doing all of that, whatever. And one day I was like, you know what? I need to pray. I like something just told me I just need to like really, really pray. Like I pray, but no, I really need to like talk to
Right.
God like how I'm talking to Iconic Glow right now.
Yeah, like listen, God, it's me. Because I'll be the
Listen,
first one to be like,
hello.
it's me again.
Right.
It's me once again.
And listen, and I'm really big on prayer, and I don't want to be like this whole, seem like this whole church, church going person that everybody, is like. But no, I'm telling you the straight up truth. I was like, God, look. So I'm here, and you seen this, and this is how I feel right now, and I'm angry, and I'm just like, yo, honestly, if you guys can get me out of this situation,
Girl, don't
I
even talk about it.
swear,
Please, Lord.
I swear, I will give your name the glory. Whatever it is, just please, I
Amen.
cannot mentally be here,
Mm.
physically be here. Like, you have no idea, like, the type of, God bless everybody that's in the shelter, but there's also people that are suffering from extreme mental,
Yeah.
situations. And I was in a family shelter with single fathers, single mothers, and then, married people. So it's just a whole bunch of different energies around you at all times, and you just have to be ready. And I was just like, I'm tired of always being ready. I need rest.
That
So
took a lot of courage from you to go ahead and just one to just say, okay, this is the only option. Two, to actually verbalize and say that, this is where I'm at. Because I'm not really sure if I would have been able to pack my babies up and put us in a shelter. I'm gonna just be honest. My mother would have had to open up the door. Like seriously, me and my mother would have been fighting in the street. I'm not going to no shelter. I am not going to the shelter. At least let my kids stay here. And then if I gotta go find a place to stay, then I gotta find a place to stay.
I think it was one of those things in grievement that it was just like, you know, my mom was just going through what she had to go through, and my dad is just, I learned to accept people for who they are,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Right.
you can't change everyone, but you can change your circumstance and your situation and what you have around you. And that's one of the things that something just told me this is the only way, and this is what I had to do. Do I still speak with them? Yes. Do I still get help? On occasion, yes. The situation actually between our communication, because it was a whole year where I had no
Right.
I had no one, like no one. And I was really angry about it. Like I really took personal, like a lot of things with my family. I was really angry. But I feel like the time away, they got to see value and how strong I was and how serious I was. And and people did start to get themselves together, like, oh well,
Right.
maybe I shouldn't be doing this, or maybe, so it was just like, I think it was necessary. I think, the newest thing that they have, they say on Instagram all the time, is breaking generational curses and stuff like that. There's still a long way to go.
Yeah.
There's still a long way to go with me and my, and just, family and everything. But in a sense, when it came to like, I really always consider myself the black sheep. I know my uncle, one of my uncles is like, yeah, I'm the black sheep too. You're like me. And it's just one of those things that I had to go through, and then turn around and be that spiritual person and be like, you know what, I forgive. You know what, recognize it for what it was. It was more than me. And this is what needed to be done. Because had I not, I would have been in this situation for a very, very long time.
So how are you making sure that you don't pass those generational traumas down to your own child?
Woo! All right. So, big question. Really simple answer. I really do believe in therapy. So, I have been in therapy. I also I like to tap into arts because I dance. So I like movement to be my medicine. I like, not so much, like, honestly, a lot of people are big into journaling. And even though I wrote this book to give back to, give honor to God, and give back to the people that are living in those situations and stuff like that, because it really is a book that, not only for people that lived in the shelter, but also like, if you send your kid to public school or any kind of schooling, you're gonna have kids around you that are living in certain situations. So it's like a teachable moment.
Right.
It's a way that teachers can teach about different family structures. It's a way that, you could give acknowledgement to, you know what, this is somebody, like the little girl in the story, she has a troubling school project that bothers her because, the teacher asked her, what do you want to be when you grow up? And then she's like, oh, well, I live in a shelter. Like, how can I even think of that? So that's the storyline of it. And it's not a real story, it's fictional, but it's based on, as I took the train from, that long ride from Brooklyn to the Bronx for like 2.5 hours every day. The things that I've seen, like how was our setup, the type of families, and like, there are children that are in college that, are in the shelter. There are families that are working. A lot of people don't know that. It's like, oh, there's people that work. Actually, you're supposed to work while you're in there. You get in trouble if you don't have a job. And these are things that, I poured into the book. So even though I wrote the book, and a lot of people love journaling, getting back to what I do to heal, I don't really like writing down my feelings, to be honest with you. I really don't like it. I used to do it when I was younger. I don't like doing it now. I more so like to dance, express myself in that way. I like to color. I like to sing. I like to do different things, like just just active things. Sometimes I may write something down, but for the most part, I'm always moving. So,
I mean, you're a single mom. So you said that you believe in therapy. Are you getting your daughter any type of services as well?
Okay, so we're gonna backtrack. She did have the services around the time that everything was going on. So when I said that the school was calling, immediately that's the first person of contact that I was like, all right, let's send her in so she could talk about, her
What's going
feelings.
on with her?
And, the therapist is like, you know what, you're gonna have to change her environment, and that was the suggestion. And I was like, okay. So on the drive home, I'm like, well, how am I change my address like tomorrow?
Right.
Like,
you gotta work on it and change the environment.
Right. So, you know, just sitting down and having that conversation, you know, with my daughter, and just being like, you know what, we're gonna make this shift. And then also throughout the time of separation of family, dealing with that anger, and then coming back to being like, you know what, not everyone's family is perfect.
Right.
You know, in the moment and in the situations, like, people are dealing with different things. I feel like we are the generation that is trying to heal each other. Like, we the generation that is not trying to let the job kill us, and we the generation that's trying to figure out, like, why did I have to go through that when I was X, Y, and Z years old, right? So I think everybody's on that path. So it was honestly something that I never thought that I would have to do, because prior to even being going into shelter, I already had graduated from Morgan. I was already a college graduate. You know, and then when you go into the system, you're dealing with a lot of people that are working for the system that are not as educated as you. So they're looking at you like.
So do you have any plans on writing an adult book?
You know, no, I don't. No. I felt like when I wrote this book, at first I was like, what can I tell adults? Because I was like, maybe writing it for adults, and I was just like, no, I can speak to adults through the children, and that was just my focus. Going forward, you know, I teach high school, so I would like to interact with teenagers. I feel like that is my niche. I feel like speaking to, you know, young adolescents that are like in the stages of, okay, I'm about to leave school, so I'm about to go into adulthood. What should I do? I feel like the experience that I have had also is to benefit to them too. Like, okay, this is what I went through. You know, I experienced this. You know, and things like that. So, no to the adults, yes to the kids.
So what can we expect from you from the future? Like, what are your future projects that you're working on? How can we buy the book and support you?
Okay, so this book is on Amazon. I am tenacious. You can type it in and you can purchase it. I have ebook for $9.99. I have the actual paperback that's $14.44. So you can buy it that way. And other ways to support me, you can follow this account. You can check my Linktree, because I do have a YouTube channel which is based on inspiration. I started the YouTube channel during the time I was writing, to try to see, like, how can I also reach the adult. That's the way I'm reaching the adults, through the YouTube channel. Here we go. I'm not writing the book.
I'm gonna type in the title right now.
Okay.
All right. Did I spell that right?
Let me see. Even I have to spell check myself, you know. I'm teaching in the classroom like this. I teach in the classroom, I'm like, wait.
All right, let me see you. Like, what to say again?
But no, you can look at that on Amazon. And also, the way that I reach out to adults is through my YouTube channel. I try to upload videos as the spirit just tells me, like, you know, like, I let the spirit talk to me. So whatever I do, I actually let the spirit speak to me. So if it's a topic that I'm just like, you know what, I'm getting signals from the universe that's telling me, okay, you know what, I'm getting this signal. Then I'm like, all right, let me pray about it. All right, I think, okay, all right, I hear you, God. Let me talk about it. And that's just how I do it. And then I have TikTok, which I'm having fun with little tiny dances, because I'm trying to get into dance again. It's really hard for me as a single mom to be in a dance class with COVID now, because before I used to be able to take her with me. Now it's like so many
Hmm.
restrictions that I
Oh
can't
yeah,
take her.
limited to how many people can come. You're absolutely right. I get it.
So it's a struggle. I would love to get back into dance, but right now TikTok is, my movement medicine for right now. So that's what I'm doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I already told you. I said everybody has to leave a gym before they leave here.
Ah! Um, oh my goodness. You did tell me that.
I told you in advance. I prepped you in advance.
My mind just be all over the place sometimes. I'm a Gemini, so um, Zach, yo, like I really don't want to like seem like this. You know what? I'm gonna just be myself. I'm
Yeah,
gonna just be myself because I don't want to seem like, yo, I'm in church every Sunday because Lord know me.
God knows your heart. You be
All
getting
right,
something, a little
y'all know
something to take
I love
away.
a good turn up too.
Yes.
But what I will say is, whatever your troubles or anything that you're going through, is surrender it to God. Just give it up, because there's no way that honestly you can go about life trying to fix every single thing that you have, every single trouble. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this, and that. And that's what I was trying to do when I was in the shelter. I'm gonna go see this realtor. You know how many apartments I seen? I got like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. This and that. I'm gonna talk to this person. It wasn't until I stopped and I surrendered everything to God that I was like, you know what? I trust that I'm supposed to be here for a reason. This is
Hmm.
how I feel, though, straight up. I'm tired, but this is how I feel. And I want to say, when I did that, the next day or 2 days later, I got a call saying that I was moving.
Mm.
I want to say the next day or 2 days later. So that's 24, 48 hours. I got a call saying, we got a place for you. Did I know where it was? No. Did they tell me the address? No. Did they let me see the place before I signed the lease? No. Right. I'm
Girl.
signing a lease to something I
Blind
don't even know
item.
where it's
A
at.
blind item apartment.
I'm
Girl.
signing a lease to something I don't know where it's at. All I know is the borough. I could be in I could have
Could
been
have
in
been in
Washington
Roosevelt
Heights.
Island.
No
You could have been
offense
in
to
Roosevelt
Washington
Island.
Heights and Dominicans. Que lo que?
You would have been all the way at Roosevelt Island. That sounds so crazy, that process. They don't even let you, like, they don't, like, you really don't have a choice. You either take
You
it or
don't
you
have a
stay.
word. You are a number in the system. And how dare you question? However, keep the faith alive, guys. Keep your faith alive, guys. Just know that in your pain, there is purpose. In your
Hmm.
pain, there is purpose. Like, you are not going through this just for nothing. Like, God does not hate you and does not want to see that you just see you suffer. Yeah.
Right.
You going through this for a reason. This is your appointed mission for you to figure it out. That's on you. However, just know that in the moment it does suck. Whatever you're going through, excuse my language, because this is my educated page, and I'm sure that some of the kids will be watching it, so I pardon me. But and in the situation, yes, it's hard mentally, physically.
Right.
My back was aching. Everything was aching. But
But you
just
kept
keep
pushing, though.
just keep in mind, honestly, I was in survival mode, and to this day, I would love to get out of that survival mode, because also, as you know, because you were a single mother. Single mothers, we
I'm
live.
still am a single mother.
Well, we live on survival mode. And hello, can I have some peace? Well, we need a single mom retreat, okay?
I don't know how that's gonna happen,
We
but you have
need
to
like we
carve
need
out
a
time when
retreat.
you can. You have to carve out time when you can. It is very difficult. Well, you know what? Like I said, I'm gonna stop saying it's difficult. It's not difficult. It's all on how you prioritize your time and you carve
Yeah.
out time for yourself. You got to make
Yeah.
sure you carve out time, even if it's an hour, even if it's on like you got to wake up early just to get on the train, just to have a moment to yourself. It
Yeah.
is essential for that. And now I have two two kids. One is 2, one is 12. Well, she'll be 13 like in less than a week. And
Oh, she's an
I'm in two
Aries, like
different.
my daughter's an Aries. On them fire signs.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yes, Levi is definitely an Aries, and
Mm.
she is going to be 13, and I'm in two different places at one time. I'm doing ABCs, and I'm asking her to put my mascara back and please put some of my clothes back because I'm looking for something that I can't find because it's in your room. So that's just where I'm at. So I definitely understand being on survivor mode has led me to make a lot of impulsive decisions. So I try not to think and be on survivor mode all the time. But I mean, it's helpful to have survival skills,
Yes,
survivor skills,
we definitely
not be
do.
in survival mode, not be in survival mode because that really is draining. Well, I want to say congratulations to you for your book. I want to thank you
Thank
for
you.
coming on. I want to thank you for being transparent and sharing your story. A lot of people in the comment section, everybody's talking,
Oh, hi y'all.
congratulating you,
Thank you.
and just thank you for your inspiration. You know, that's really just what I just try to create here is for people just to have a place just to tell your story and, buy your book too. You know, you have some people that's
Thank
going to
you.
buy your book too. So, yep, I want to say thank you again for coming. I want to thank everybody else for tuning in. I will post Joyelle's book so you guys can see it and be able to buy it off of Amazon. Please support, follow her page, check her link tree.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ask her a grammar issue if you have some because she's a teacher. Maybe she'll help you and assist you with something.
Shout out to all
Maybe.
the Morgan State University alumni in the
Yes,
house.
yes, 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 yes. We
All the
missed you this
HBCU
homecoming.
alums.
We missed you this homecoming.
Girl, I was there.
You was not there.
I was. I just missed the game. And you know what? I'm going to stop that because, I was a Foxy. I was dancing in the
I
band.
know
And I'm
you was a
always
Foxy
hanging out with
lady.
people that don't care about the football game. They like coming after the
So
game.
did you go to the party or any of that?
No, I did not. That too. I did not go to the homecoming party. Okay, next time I'll come. I'll just make sure that I'm coming with y'all, or I'll just link y'all there. I did not go to the homecoming
Girl, how'd
party.
you come to homecoming but don't go to
I
party?
was
So
on the
what did you
yard.
do?
I was on the. People saw me on the bridge and on the. I was there.
I was like, girl, what you go there for if you was just gonna walk back and
I
forth? Girl, you could have
know.
went there on any other random week.
I
You had
had
to come out
fun
there for
walking
that.
back and forth though. I had fun.
We barely got a chance to walk back and forth because the rain came down so crazy. But that rain came down, we were like all underneath the little student center,
Yeah.
waiting for the rain to stop. But it stopped. This homecoming changed the game
I know.
for everybody who went. It set the tone for what the rest of this year is gonna look like. So I'm happy that I went.
I
It
had
set
a
the
good
tone.
time. I had a good time seeing everybody, and I hope to see you soon.
I'll be around.
Okay.
I'll be chilling. I'll be in my skin. I'll be around. I don't do too much. But when I pop out, I'll pop out. I'll let
Yeah,
you
you
know.
do. Yeah, you do.
When I pop out, I'm gonna pop out.
Yes, we
Just
do.
be on
Yes, we
alert.
do.
Well, thank
Mhm.
everybody for joining. Tune in next Thursday. I will be here again. Make sure you guys follow Joyelle. Make sure you go ahead and support her book. Thank you guys again. Thank you, Joelle. I appreciate you. Good night,
Thank you.
everyone.
Love, love, love. Peace. Bye, everybody. Peace.